It's time for Global Insight, where we speak to experts from around the world on issues making headlines. Being the birthplace of CRISPR gene editing tools and the most powerful scientific lasers in the world, Lithuania is known for its science and entrepreneurial spirit. As countries around the world face a period of slowing growth, trade disputes and geopolitical conflict, all the more muddled by environmental and health-related challenges, it's becoming increasingly important to find cooperation between borders to find economic security and create innovative solutions. How can South Korea and Lithuania collaborate? Today, we're joined in studio by Jovita Neliupsiene, Vice Minister of the Economy and Innovation of the Republic of Lithuania. Now, prior to her current role as Vice Minister, she served as the Chancellor of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador to the EU and Advisor to the President of Lithuania. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Vice Minister.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, very good morning to you. And well, first of all, it's just wonderful to have you here in Seoul and come down to our office during your very busy stay here. And well, first of all, for our viewers, if you could share with us why you're here this week.
Well, together with the Lithuanian companies, scientists, professors of the CRISPR technology, we are here in the Biotech Plus Interfax conference and exhibition with the Lithuanian stand in there. So presenting our inventions and advanced studies in biotechnology and trying to network with our South Korean partners.
Right, and biotechnology, that's a field that virtually every country in the world is trying to jump into, and obviously Lithuania has a good advantage with its background in innovative technologies. And well, Lithuania, your capital city, is also very well known for its innovative ecosystem, this innovation ecosystem rather. And well, what makes your organic system work, and what do you think is rather unique about it?
I think that one of the reasons is probably priorities. You know, when you want to do everything, then it takes more time and probably more people. When you are a country of 2.8 million, then you have to make a priority. So biotech, smart industry like lasers, and as well IT, ICT is our priorities. So that helps actually to streamline our efforts, streamline the efforts of the government in supporting businesses and researchers, be it fundamental research or applied research, and as well actually to mobilize other kind of the resources within the country. I do believe that this together with the open economy, because we are as the same as Korea, we are exporting economy. More than 80% of our industrial production is actually exported all around the world. Only lasers, for example, are exported to more than 100 countries around the world. So that's actually makes us, you know, to adapt. As a smaller country, we actually are quite flexible. And you know, what is important, the most important is people. And the people are full of ambitions. So that's probably a good mix for the innovations.
And what's really rather remarkable is that, you know, you have this very agile population in your country, and us being in South Korea, us being trade dependent as well. We're actually, most of the industry is dominated by large conglomerates, but on the other hand, Lithuania, though, it has a very promising and very robust startup system as well. So. But of course, as you said, human resources, they're the most vital ingredient in that mix. So how do you really foster these entrepreneurial mindsets and turn them into industry leaders?
Of course, being not a big economy, we put our emphasis on small and medium businesses. There are big companies, well, but they are not so big as if we compare with Korean. But we have more than 1,000 startups with really good success rate. Most of them are actually working in IT, ICT, but some of them in biotech as well, and some really very successful in doing business. Their startup community is actually very network open. That means that they have a lot of cooperations with the foreign countries and definitely foreign capital, because you have to attract the capital, and government is trying to have a financial incentives to make sure that it's not only Lithuanian capital, venture capital helping helping startups, having national, the governmental supported venture capital, but as well helping them to attract foreign venture capital, which helps them to develop and to accelerate. We have like numerous different kind of the acceleration program. One of on which we are working on is actually, maybe it's not surprising for Korea, but in Europe it would be surprising. We're working on the game industry accelerator for the startups, because we are right now are having a huge growth in this field. Well, good example and success. Just in mid of June, we signed a cooperation with Korean startup organization, and well, I hope that this will help to develop more links within the startups.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that synergy. And well, it's been an incredibly challenging time for all countries around the world, all businesses, especially small and medium businesses that are being hit by surging price levels, also soaring debt levels, and all this uncertainty in global trade. So how should small and medium businesses really be supported at this time?
Well, I do believe, one of the things for Lithuanian government is actually to think about not really helping during the crisis, but to prepare the caution before the crisis. That if the company is stable, well organized, healthy in its finances, so that would probably give them the opportunity to survive any kind of the crisis. Well, let's come back, for example, to the peak of COVID. Lithuania was actually probably the only country within the European Union which had no minus in the GDP during the COVID. Our export has been growing because, the supply chain during the COVID and right now, because of the geopolitical reasons and Russian war on Ukraine, they were, if not broken, so cracked. So we managed to, our companies, especially small and medium, being flexible enough, managed to fill the gap which was needed, especially in Europe, to shorten the supply chains and to ensure that we are trusted partners and may produce the things which are needed in the market, which led that actually our export has grown during the crisis and still COVID crisis, and still has been growing. Another element is that when you are in a quite difficult neighborhood, let's put nicely, you actually learn the lesson. One of their biggest companies and the most successful startups, and one of the unicorns, so more than billion value startup, actually works in cybersecurity. Well, why? Because we know what it means to be under cyber attack for quite a long time. So you learn to live and you do business of what you learn. So there are lots of the third, maybe the last thing is that we have really long-standing cooperation, for example, in Korea in energy, and their LNG terminal, offshore LNG ship. Which ensures the energy independence, gas supply independence for not only for Lithuania, but for all the Baltic region, was produced in South Korea. So I do believe that if you prepare your slates in summer, that always helps in any kind of the crisis.
Right, I see. And well, with your embassy here in Seoul now, so the Lithuanian embassy in Seoul is quite young, but since you established your embassy here, we've been hearing a lot more about the commercial opportunities and also Lithuanian innovations, of course, and from your commercial attaché. So it's been a good learning process for South Korea. But during your time here, what kinds of South Korean innovations stood out to you?
I think that the South Korean wish and ambition to become, for example, vaccine hub, vaccine production hub is really very appealing, I have to say, because we all faced, and everyone in the society actually knows what it means and why it is needed. There are some innovations in the cancer detection. This is where we can actually work together, because in some of the cancer detections using Lithuanian lasers, we are quite advanced. Koreans are doing a bit different kind of their research, biomedical part of I think that this is really the things. And but looking in the broader context, Korea for us is best known because the industry you have here, semiconductors, e-vehicles, automotive in general, memory sticks, memory chips. So that's really the amazing part. Everybody right now is everybody's a huge demand, and everybody wants to learn how to build this kind of the industry you can rely on.
Right, and you talked about the industries that we can really build on, and let's talk about energy security again. So going forward, in this time when the entire world really it's facing a severe supply crunch of energy due to geopolitical factors that you mentioned, how can Lithuania and South Korea then cooperate in procuring supplies of energy and really working together at this critical time?
So, of course, one of the things what Europe in general needs is actually independent energy supply, because most of our gas in Europe, not in Lithuania anymore, but most of the European gas was supplied from Russia. Now we have the sanction package, and because of the Russian wage war in Ukraine, we have to think about alternatives. One is, of course, to find alternatives, for the natural gas somewhere in Africa, Arabic Peninsula, and other countries. But there are projects like LNG, because I think that everybody now is trying to build a LNG. We could offer our operational capabilities. For example, Lithuanian LNG company in Klaipėda, the seaport town, actually is operating LNG in Brazil. So if you need a good operator for LNG, you can always ask us. But I think that there is another element. So everything what is related to renewables, and a new way of looking at the energy, there are solar panels, wind, and offshore wind facilities. This is where we actually can work together.
Right. And what other areas of science and technology do you think Lithuania and South Korea have in which they can cooperate?
Well, we have already mentioned the biotech. We have already good stories. For example, the company which works with the invention of the CRISPR technology, gene editing technology, they have contracts and are in cooperation with NSH, Korean company. Celtrion has their links with Lithuania and Biomappers. So this is our IoT, the Internet of Things company is actually in the nearest future planning to open their office here and maybe some of their production line, because we are not only attracting investments, which is what is my job, I have to admit, but on the other side, our companies are already investing in foreign countries, and there are some maybe more not usually known areas like space technology, and some of our companies actually already have some links. For example, last year, a Lithuanian company, Nanoavionics, produced small nano satellites for a Korean company, Contech. And they're actually launching them together. Hopefully, that would be a kind of a cornerstone for the future broader cooperation. So really there are a wide range of the possibilities, and they're the last but not least Lithuanian lasers. We produce 10% of the global supply of the short pulse lasers, and 10 of those 10 goes to Korea. So I think that this is the good start.
Right, Vice Minister, as you said, it's incredibly important to have people come together and really collaborate and share ideas that turn into innovation. And in that regard, people-to-people exchanges are so important in academia, in the commercial side as well. So how are you planning to promote that as Vice Minister?
Well, one of the things I have already mentioned, that we already have a success stories where our companies in biotech, in lasers, in Internet of Things, and even in the space technologies are already cooperating. It's not maybe widely known, but there are Lithuanian students coming here to South Korea to study mostly STEM professions, technological professions in your most prestigious universities. Sometimes they stay, sometimes they come back. This is a huge talent pool if they come back for us as well, because they learn how their business is done, how research is done in South Korea. And interestingly enough, there are quite a number of South Korean students actually studying in Lithuania medical sciences, mostly, for example, odontology. So it's really, you know, the networks that young people create among themselves actually helps in the future to build either scientific research or other businesses. I do believe that we have to expand this kind of the cooperation, and definitely we are looking and working with the institutions. As I mentioned, we will be signing today the cooperation, a memorandum of understanding between Korea Bio and Lithuanian Innovation Agency on biotechnology. A couple of months ago, together with our Institute of Physical Research and Material Research, signed actually the MOU together with the Korean Laser Producing Institute. And there are many more to come, hopefully, for example, in the space industry, in between our trade institutions. So there are lots of options how to promote people-to-people contacts on different levels, business to business, students and institutions.
Well, it looks like there's a lot of synergy to unlock there, and we certainly look forward to that. Thank you so much for your time today, Vice Minister.
Thank you very much.